versus MMU. Will INTI take a clean sweep into the finals, or will MMU force a game 3? We'll just have to wait and see, as both teams looking really prepared for the second game. As you mentioned, the first game is just experimental, but now it is a real deal. It is the deciding game whether INTI moves on or whether MMU, still retains their shot of making it into the GSA Championship finals. But the main topic I want to talk about is Alistar. We haven't seen Alistar for so long, and suddenly Alistar is picked to to cooperate with a Vayne in the bottom lane. How do you see this work against a Sivir and Nami?
I definitely think this is not, it's not going into the favor of Skyline and Hari here, because they're obviously going to get, at level 2, it's already going to be really difficult, especially since Brekka is such a big tank. And Vayne, despite having to go into the fight, despite going into the fight, he's able to start dishing out some serious damage at level 2, in comparison to Skyline, whose main damage comes from throwing her boomerang. So as long as you can get out of that, you've pretty much mitigated the amount of damage you're taking.
And I think for Vayne, normally Vayne players right now with the new Runes Reforged, they will go press the attack simply because you can auto attack, tumble, reset, auto attack, and condemn. You will proc press the attack. You will proc your silver bolts, you will proc press the attack, which gives you the flat amount of adaptive damage. And on top of that, you will be able to dish out more damage, from all sources. And I think another factor that will affect how the bottom lane plays out are the summoner spells. You see Froza and Rekka going Heal Ignite, while Skyline and Hari went for Heal and Exhaust. This really speaks volumes about INTI's playstyle in the bottom lane. They want to go aggressive with the Vayne, get Vayne rolling, because when Vayne hits level 6 and she has enough lead, she can essentially duel the enemy ADC, because Sivir relies on the boomerang, relies on the spell shield, relies on the ricochet, but if you can't see your target, it is an entirely different story.
I absolutely agree. But I think in this situation, Skyline and Hari definitely should change their summoner spells to either cleanse heal or maybe preferably not barrier, because that's not going to do much. But I definitely think Sivir really needed a cleanse in this situation. There are so many things that she needs to dodge overall, but she's going to be in the backline most of the time. But if she gets somehow hit by a random push for a force of will from MBD, she's going to need a cleanse. And on top of that, she's most likely going to get a QSS later in the game regardless. So might as well get a cleanse early so you can deal with the Ignite, and then after that depend on Nami to heal you. Twice the heal on top of that.
I really have to agree with that point, but after enough about the bottom lane, let's go over to the mid lane. Now, there has been this debate about whether Syndra has lane priority over Vladimir, or Vladimir having lane priority over Syndra. Most of the time you see Syndra being the one pressuring Vladimir, but most of the time it changes when they hit level 6. It's up to whether Vladimir can dodge the unleashed power, or whether Syndra will be able to dish out the damage before her abilities go on cooldown. But I think again the early phase goes back over to the both junglers, because they are both pathing towards the top lane, and with mid lane priority in the early phase going over to NBD, Chronix will be pushed back, and it kind of this discourages Prochi to initiate a gank in the middle lane, but Gensogami, on the other hand, will have a big window.
Yeah, I absolutely agree there. But in terms of mid lane, who has priority, it's definitely going to be Syndra. She definitely outrages Chronix, and as long as she's zoning Chronix away from his farm and just playing the lane correctly, it should be just like this. You can see that the life difference. He's already popped the pot. Oh no!
Oh, Rekka is going on to Hari to ignite his pop. Hari dropping super low. One last hit, Froza. He's going to land the auto attack, but the heal from Skyline will save the support. And again, this is what we've talked about during drafting phase. Vayne and Alistar, they really want to go aggressive, and we can already see the impact on both the Sivir and the Nami. Summoners have been blown. They still have their flash, but at the cost of an ignite.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's a 2-for-1 situation here. Both summoners down, but flash is going to be super important here. Well played by Skyline and Hari for noticing that. Well, interesting engage. Not much to really pull off of, but that does mean Hari and Skyline are manaless.
And with the mana deficit that the bot laners of MMU are facing right now, it means Rekka can easily go in without any repercussions. You don't have to be afraid of any spell shield, but Scruggy is going to land a pillar in front of himself. Not really sure what he's doing right there. He's going to get a cocoon, and Repel comes in for Prochi. He's still chasing. The Scarlet Crab will boost Scruggy out off the way, but he'll be forced to burn his flash. And again, bottom lane, Gensugami coming in for a gang, but Rekka will survive, has to burn his flash. Froza as well, and Skyline trying to go back for a duel, but Gensugami comes in, he's knocked Froza out. Froza is dropping super low, one last hit, and Hari gets the first blood, while Gensugami will pick up a kill onto Rekka. MMU starting the game on fire.
Oh boy, that's going to be a huge play for the side of Skyline and Hari. Definitely a slight misplay for Forza. They definitely should have just backed off under tower there. There was no need to go any further for that. But Gensugami getting kill off of that, and sadly Nami got the kill for. Sadly Nami got a kill for that. Hopefully it was supposed to be on right side or Severe, but overall it's really good because they're going to be Forza and Rekka are going to be missing out so much farm.
And Hari is going to reach the Ardent Sensor really quickly because he is running Kleptomancy and he has just gotten 3 bags of golds, which was used. And you see the side stone already coming in, 2 control wards, which basically negates the cons that Sivir and Nami bot lane have against a Vayne and Alistar, because now they've gotten the lane priority, they've gotten the pressure, and suddenly the tides have been turned around. The lane matchup that they were supposed to be losing, they are now winning it.
Absolutely, and we can see that mid lane has gone into the priority of Chronix, who has no mana, so he doesn't have to worry and can walk up to MBD, who runs out and depends on it. But they're going to start off with a really aggressive play here, trying to take an early Drake so that they can ensure that extra sustain when they're out of fights, to continuously stay in lane and just keep pressuring, because Severe is such a good split.
Oh my god! Woo! Flash tide of blood and a transfusion, and suddenly NBD goes back to the fountain. Chronix picking up a kill for himself, and this is the complete opposite of game 1, where INTI were the one doing proactive plays. INTI were the one pressuring MMU, and MMU says they're finally coming online and they are doing the proactive play, and Hari's come in and Gensugami is at the back. The headbutt will be blocked by Special, but the Polar comes in and the bubble will land to Froza. Froza is dropping super low. Teleport is coming in from Dolan, and Gensugami does not have the tunnel. He might just go down. Froza picks up a kill for himself, and that is a really good teleport play from his Dolan. And Skarky actually being pushed to his own tower. Chronix trying to come in, has the Ghost, has the Hemo Plague. It's a bit too far to pull off any engages, and that is really well coordinated by INTI.
Yeah, MMU really starting to really buck up here. It's great seeing that they're now setting up ganks. They tried baiting it out with Skyline was trying to bait out all the spells from Vayne and Rekka just to ensure that the gank will succeed, because they know they don't have flash. They could easily gank that. But sadly enough, Elise was there in perfect timing, and Dolan with a TP coming in. Sadly, Skarky couldn't even TP. He would lose so much farm in the process that it might not have been worth his time, so decides not to and keep pushing up forward.
And Prochi being the aggressive one in the jungle, trying to take camps, and Gensugami is coming in. Cocoon gets stunned and gets 2 stun in the face. And NBD Unleashed Power will take him down, but Skarky is here for revenge, using his own TP, and NBD is dropping so low, and Chronix is at the back, pulls backwards. Title Bird will take NBD down, but Prochi is going to get a kill onto Skyline, and now they are forced to retreat. MMU trying to run away, but Dolan is sticking onto the Froza, will pick up another kill onto Hari, and Rekka is just zoning Chronix out. No way for the Vladimir to go into the fight. INTI pulling themselves back into the game.
Wow, that was such a good fight. The way they played that was entirely well. Their communications must be on point to have pulled that off so effortlessly, not having to worry about so many factors, because they were all moving and rotating at the same time. It's so good to see, and it's so refreshing to see players communicate really well, because seeing them move as one is very reminiscent of international standards.
And Skarky burning his teleport to join the fight didn't really end up doing nothing, being just forced to run away from the fight. But we might just see another poetic play in the bottom lane. See 4 members from MMU rotating, but Froza has learned his lesson, and he's going to back off and get his first set of items before and just reset the whole thing. And so far, Chronix would be the leverage that MMU needs to stay in the game and to scale into the mid and late game, because he has the snowball going for him, 2-0 in the middle lane, working towards that pro belt. But the rest of his team are seemingly getting caught out left and right.
Absolutely, and MMU definitely have changed up. Something's different about them. They really are making more proactive plays. They know what they should be doing, but overall, INTI is still playing pretty well. So is that going to be enough? That's the question we're going to be finding out throughout this game.
Prochi going for the Predators and the Boots is going to come off cooldown. You have access to fights easy access to fights. Has that burst from the Predator. It works like a dead man's plate. But again, with Skyline hitting that Kodos Warhammer has a bit of cooldown reduction, can spam Ricochet and Boomerang Throw even more, pushing Froza under his tower. But and that kind of allows MMU's bot lane duo to rotate around the map if needed. But at the same time, they are funneling resources into Froza and Rekka because they can essentially keep the creep wave away from the turret and just slowly farm up the items.
Yeah, definitely freezing it and just keeping Skyline and Hari to increase their goal differential. But Hari just wave pushing so efficiently, is still ahead in CS despite Vayne being 2 kills ahead of him. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this game is going to play out. It seems to be they're stuck on the laning phase, but they got to roam a little bit more here. We can see, oh, the pings are coming out here. They might be setting up for another... They might be setting up for something even more. They're trying to get the dragon, probably?
Very bottom lane focus as Gensukami comes in with a ton of Rekka. Will spot him now, but Chronix will take the blast cone over. Suddenly there's a 4-man squad from MMU in the bottom lane. The bubble will land, the tumble does not get in the way. The tunnel will knock him out. He goes into the final hour, but Chronix just dives in and kills off the Vayne. Rekka will get one in revenge. Suddenly the Cocoon will land. There's no pull for the Vladimir trying to heal himself out. He'll get stunned out. He'll be taken down. A shutdown for Prochi and MMU. 4-man dive squad. Catastrophe for the side.
Insugami didn't use his ult.
Nope.
I'm not gonna say questionable, but I think that ult would have made a significant difference in getting out of such a bad situation. But he was CC'd for a decent amount of time. Fingers gotta react fast. Fingers gotta react fast to make sure he's got Vayne. He flashed on top of Vayne, knocked her up, got a couple of Qs, even got his E off, but didn't get his ult off, which was super surprising.
But Scrocky was able to keep Dolan in the lane, not letting the Shen to ultimate. If that Shen ultimate went through, it would have made so much difference. Scrocky trying to go aggressive onto the Shen, and he's working towards that Tiamat really soon. And once he get it, you see the Shen being pushed out of lane. But with that being said, so far Dolan just being the life savior of INTI. Every time there's an engage, his ultimate was there, except for that last fight because Scrocky was controlling him.
Yes.
And you would expect the 4-man dive squad to work wonders, to get the whole, to just shut down Froza and Rekka, but no, Rekka gets a kill onto Gensugami, and suddenly MBD and Prochi are in the vicinity. And they saw Chronix walk down to the bottom lane, which allows them to respawn. But this might be another fight. Froza will just push the Nami into the wall. No way out. Prochi on a killing spree. The Skyline will be forced to back off.
Absolutely caught out there thanks to a control ward. Smartly placed by INTI's side. They're going to take first tower off this unless they decide to defend, but the wave push isn't going to be enough as Alistar zones them out, and they will take first tower off of this.
Scrocky just chomps Dolan down, and this is where the Trundle comes online. But of course, the first turret is now skewing in the favor of INTI. I think they should get this. This Tumble now works on turrets, and yes, first turret goes over to INTI, but Gensugami is trying to make his way out. Chronix there to defend. Ties of Blood will hit on Rekka, but Rekka does not care. Trying to control the Vladimir. Ignite goes on, and MBD is here, has that unleashed power, but Gensugami just dives into his own demise. Now he's dropping super low. He uses the tunnel, does not get out. Dolan just comes in, and Chronix will be forced to back off. Gensugami just diving too far in and ends up dying.
Misplay?
Maybe.
Play? There's no explaining how bad of a decision that was. There really isn't. There is no explanation of how terrible of an idea to ult in that situation. I'm going to say it's a misclick. That's as much as I'll give it. But overall, a very, very terrible ult to get into there, especially knowing that there are 2 people ahead of you. You had no support coming in regardless, so even if you did decide to ult just to protect yourself, you're not trying to dodge anything. You would have died regardless.
The mid turret will go down for the side of MMU. Again, the second Drake of the game is live, and INTI will take the Infernal Drake, definitely even more beneficial to their lineup because they rely on a lot of bursts. They have the snowball going. And 10 minutes ago, we were praising how MMU were doing the right thing, how they were being the proactive one. And suddenly everything just went south. Chronic was snowballing, not anymore. NBD was filling the mid lane, not anymore. You see Skyline and Hari were playing so well against Sugami, was so proactive on the Rex side as intended, but that proactiveness kind of backfired. He went from 1-0 to 1-4.
I absolutely agree here. They were being a little too proactive now. Now I think they gotta play with their leads. They've got to lead mid lane, and that lead mid lane has such high AOE damage that it definitely can change a fight and definitely just one shot certain people. Forza,
Sort of.
Who else would you want to one-shot at this point? But Dolan needs to be taken care of. They need to make sure he doesn't have Stand United, or at least have Trundle nearby him to ensure that he isn't able to do that. But being able to take Rift Herald is going to make a major difference here, as the goalie is only 1k. It's anybody's game still, but it's definitely looking into the favor of INTI.
And now MMU would have to rely on Skrarky to keep Dolan in his lane, because Trundle he has his Tiamat ready. No, and he is building towards, I'm guessing, a Frozen Heart, which is going to negate so much damage from the Shen, so much damage from the rest of INTI's squad. And his job is just, as I mentioned, to split push, to keep Shen in the lane, not let him join fights. And you can see, without a Shen, it's going to be so much more of a difference. Vladimir will have more window to fight. The Sivir and the Nami will have more opportunities to dish out damage. It just makes so much of a deviation in comparison when Shen is in the fight.
Absolutely, and we can see that MMU's Hari is just so under-leveled that she isn't able to get into range to leech off the XP. Alistar making a proactive play here. He's behind the lines. Elise is coming in, and the fight begins.
And Nami is dropping so low. He just disappeared. The cow eats him alive. Proji trying to get out against Sugami is on the hunt. Tries to hunt for the spider. Pops the ultimate. The spider will flash away, but still get chomped down. And against Sugami, will try to make an escape, but INTI says, I'm not going for the Rek'Sai. I'm going for your carry. Final hour is popped. Skyline gets knocked into the wall, and Froza will pick up another kill for himself.
Ooh, but can they clean this up though? It's
Chronix.
a 2v3 and Chronix is pretty fed. Will he go in for this? Decides not to. Pushes the wave out. Ooh, so many interesting things that could have happened there. The question is, would it possibly, maybe, if Sivir decided to walk down towards River, not taking the Tri-Bush path, would she have survived, and would it be a good 3v3 to take?
I mean, she could have walked downwards and lead INTI into Chronix and Gensogami, which was the backup that is approaching him. But I still think that if the 3v3 happened, it could have went either way.
Either way,
honestly. With the amount of control that Rekka has, he has that flash when he engaged on Skyline. So if he spots out Chronix and Gensogami, he might just decide to flash on them, and it might still go over to INTI's favor of approaching Woodspot against Sugami. Gami just walks in a straight line, takes a cocoon to the face, and suddenly down to 30% health. Of course, INTI would want to send assistance to the bottom lane. Trundle is starting to get out of control, and Dolan will need some help to deal with it as well. Rift Herald will get popped. Proji just comes in, tries to distract the Rift Herald for as long as they can. Not really sure if that is the optimal use of the Rift Herald. It's not even in range of the turret, and this will just be eaten up by INTI's side.
I'm gonna say maybe it was timing out. I'm giving a lot of benefits of the doubts here. I'm giving as many as I possibly can to save this situation. There's so many questionable things that MMU shouldn't be doing, but it's happening regardless. But I think Skrarky is doing a really good job keeping Dolan in his place. I think this is a really good pick, and if they had this game won, it might have made a significant difference here. But it looks like it's going to be a proactive play. 4 members of the team is coming down, and Dolan's just baiting him into it. MMU have figured it out, and Skrarky's trying to get out of the way.
Oh, Froza is here, will land the condemned. Silver Bolts will pop Skrarky, and INTI will pick up another kill, this time onto Dolan.
Sad, unfortunate, but regardless, it's not going to change anything in this game. It's really going into the favor of INTI. And INTI now looking to make the big plays here. They've only made a 2k gold lead. I think it's going to hit another 5k gold lead if they could get a really, really good engage. A 5v5 would be preferable, but I don't think MMU is in any position to really group up at this point. They still want to control the map as much as they can. They're trying to deny vision, and also to find small skirmishes to put their leads even further, and to let people who are behind catch up.
I think the one element that MMU should abuse in order to take control of the game is the fact that INTI has horrible wave clear. Their best wave clear comes from Syndra, which is not really as effective. If you look at MMU lineup, you have a Trundle with a Frozen Heart and a Tiamat. Maybe he can go Ravenous, Hydra. You have a Rek'Sai, you have a Vladimir. You have a Sivir, which is one of the best wave clearing champions. And if they can play around that, they can essentially keep INTI, from grouping up as a team. And if they bring their entire squad to gank someone, you get objectives in return, which is super worth it if in terms of getting the map pressure. But so far, we haven't seen MMU utilizing that kind of wave clear to put pressure onto their opponents.
Yeah, I definitely agree here. Now, Dragon is going to be the next objective coming up real soon. We can see that Gensu is really nearby, as well as his Skrekky, who's really nearby as well to maybe contest it, but it seems that INTI want to take it first here. They don't have any vision there, so I think they're just going to let it go this time. But an Infernal Drake is going to be huge, as that's going to be the second Infernal Drake for the side of INTI. So they may want to consider contesting this.
Oh, MMU is already moving the entire team towards the Infernal Drake, while Froza is still in the top lane trying to make a push. Rekka trying to disrupt MMU, and the smite will go over the favor of Gensugami. He gets the Infernal Drake. Chronix is in the middle of 3 people. Skrekky will pick up Pochi, and Rekka is a really troubled cow. Flash exhaust from Hari will knock onto NBD. Unleash power, has no power at all. NBD trying to make it out. 5 members onto him. He drops. MMU winning the Dragon Skirmish.
Amazing call for MMU. Their rotations were perfect. This was absolutely the right call. They knew what they had to do. They knew Vayne was up top, so they brought all 5 members and the TP from Trundle, ensuring that tower doesn't even go down. They are going to turn the tides back into their favor here. So many kills going on. And the most important part, they got Infernal Drake. How did that happen? That should not have been allowed.
Now, INTI trying to salvage Flash Taunt, 3-man knockout. And Skylight dropping super low, forced to Flash and pop the heal, and Rekka suddenly find himself really low, but Pochi will blow Gensugami up. Chronix on the run. They are not going to chase him. And Skyline just takes the blast cone back into Pochi. Pochi gets a double kill, but Froza is trying to take down Chronix. He does. Silver Bolts will pop. Final hour will give him the extra movement speed that he needs. Hari is in trouble. He has that Phantom Dancer, gets a double kill, and suddenly a 4-and-1 trade in favor of INTI. What is going on? Baron has just spawned, and INTI might just pick that up as the prize. Skrekky trying to run away, puts up the pillar, but Froza is on the hunt. He is the hunter. He has the passive. One more tumble might just make it. Pochi is there to cut the Trundle off. He just has to buy time. Silver Bolts will proc Skrekky, forced to turn around and fight, but the Stand United will come in. Skrekky forced to flash away. And INTI suddenly gaining control, and Baron has just spawned in their favor, and they will just start to work on it. But Pochi dropping super low. Really want to go for it. Gensugami is nearby. Pochi being knocked airborne. I think they really want to force this really aggressive Baron. Skrekky is still super healthy, has half health, but if Gensugami gets this, it will be the end. Takes the blast cone in, the flash, the smite, doesn't get it. Pochi secures the Baron, and Skrekky will be forced to run away again. He has been running for the whole game, and he will not be able to make it out this time. Unleash power, double kill onto Froza. Hari comes in, gets trapped in the pit, another kill going over to INTI, and suddenly INTI are in the lead once again.
And now with a 5k goal lead, they're going to keep pushing it through. Man, that's how it should have been played earlier during the Dragon fight. To keep Gensugami, they adapted and they figured out what they did wrong. This is a great play from the side of INTI. They know what they're doing, and they're going to push this way all the way to victory. They're going to take top lane. They're going to take the top lane tier 1 turret. That's easily going to go down. It's highly in their favor, and they're going to keep pushing in to get those leads. Now, Vayne is so fed with 7 kills under her belt, IE and PD as well. It looks like she might even go for a shiv right after.
Just when everything was going perfect, impeccable for MMU, INTI strikes back with their own. That flash taunt and 3-man polarize from Dolan and Rekka in the middle lane was the game changer. Suddenly gave them 4 kills, gave them a Baron and another 3 kills. Gensugami just respawn, Hari just respawn, enter the fight, tries to make the steal, and they end up dying again. That is more than a full minute of being in the fountain and absolutely gaining nothing at all. And now MMU having to deal with 5 members of INTI with Baron buff as well. It's going to be put at a really tough situation.
Now they gotta play this really carefully though, because MMU do have the damage. They have the items that they need to actually start killing members on the side of INTI. So they gotta play smart here. Despite having a slight advantage, it doesn't mean they can win any fight they take. They gotta play it slow. They gotta understand how their team. They gotta understand how MMU are deciding to play it and counteract with that. Wow, NBD just really landing his Force of Wills every single time.
And Gensugami is still going for the damage instead of some durability. He can dive in with the tunnel, but it just get bursted down by NBD, Froza, or like the entire team of INTI. And that is the thing about Rek'Sai that I have to mention. We mentioned it a lot of times, but I have to bring it back up. If you can't utilize that early game well, which he landed himself a 1 and 4, this is what happens. You will fall off so hard that you will find it really hard to get back into the mid to late game. It's going to knock Prochi up, but the flash polarized from Rekka will bring Gensugami back. Is he going to drop one last tick of Super Bowl? Does not pop, but Hari will be the sacrificial lamb. Froza is dominating and then unleash power onto Chronix. Chronix drop as well. Rekka still surviving somehow. Gensugami at the back line. He drops. Froza gets another kill onto Skyline, but he gets shut down in the process. 1 for 4. Again, INTI coming up on top. Scrucky, the only member alive. INTI could just push for the win, and there's nothing the Trundle can do to defend against this onslaught.
There's nothing left to say. INTI have got this in the bag, and I think that was really, really well done by the side of INTI. They knew how to engage. They just outclassed MMU in Game 1, and now they are outclassing them in this final hour in Game 2. There's nothing much you can do, but it's going to be one final push for the side of MMU to hopefully manage to push them out. They might actually get a couple of kills here as Scrucky's making his way. Gensugami is getting nearby. Alti is not on the side of Rekka as he's trying to make his way back, and he's getting pushed, and he might give it a kill.
Rekka!
There we go.
Finally, 1 kill, 1 Baron buff off the map, but regardless, Baron buff will expire in a short while, and the fourth Drake of the game will be spawning in less than 30 seconds, and that is where INTI would want to look at. And suddenly Vayne has 3 core items, a shift, a PD, and an IA. And guess what? He's going for another Zeal item. 100% crit on Vayne. This is going to be super scary. He's going to spot out Chronix. Will he really go for the fight? Suddenly he finds himself in a 1v2. Not the best choice. Gives his life away to Skyline. Skyline says thank you, and MMU gets another kill for themselves.
Absolutely, and also blowing a summoner, blowing heal from off of Forza is going to be really huge here. She's not going to be as survivable as she was before, but INTI made a slight mistake there as Forza is getting a little too overconfident with what she can do, especially in the 2v1, and especially with the person who has the most damage on their team, both being Severe and Vladimir.
And INTI is going to converge onto the Drake. I think MMU knows where their opponents are. They might just come in for another Drake fight. Hemoplague is up on the table. Chronix is threatening the INTI squad, trying to contest over this Mountain Drake. And it's very important for MMU to get the Mountain Drake simply because they have good wave clear and sieging potential. But INTI definitely is not backing down. Scrucky, we can see him coming in with a teleport, and they immediately get spotted by Prochi. Prochi might just be the one to engage. The pillar comes out, and Chronix is just pushing his presence forward, zoning INTI out, and they might just have gotten the Mountain Drake for themselves. But Rekka trying to find an opening, trying to find an opening. Dolan comes in with a stand, unites Scrucky, lands the pillar, and Froza gets blown up again. Teleport comes in next, knocks 2 member out. NBD gets also, but there's no damage coming in. But there's a backdoor going in by Prochi. He is doing the X packet. Will be doing Rekka being the stake, being the bait, and the whole team of MU is recalling Dolan, trying to be the distraction. But Prochi, he did it! INTI 2-0 into the finals.
He backdoors them in the entire